Go. Good morning, everybody, and welcome yet again to another Friday. Welcome to Off the Cuff. This is live, this is for you. And if you've got no idea what Off the Cuff is, welcome. You're so welcome to be here. So, Off the Cuff is a segment presented by XCAP, Exemplo Capital, my company, that allows a space for the entrepreneur, for the founder, for the startup, for the person in business to bring their questions live to us, and in the moment, off the cuff, I will answer them from a business consultant point of view, absolutely free of charge. Now, you can submit your questions by getting in touch with us. You can email us, you can DM us, there's links in our bios that you can submit your questions. And this questions is, for the startup, for the entrepreneur, for the person in the space that, is building a business, building something unique, because we believe that every founder, every entrepreneur has got this massive calling in their life, and we want to give back. So as a consultant, usually people, pay me quite a lot of money to solve their problems. But we do realize that a lot of startups, you guys are sitting there and you've got all these questions that you're facing, and you're not quite at the scale to have a full-time consultant. But that doesn't mean we cannot help with the answers. So please submit your questions. We've got 12 questions every week that we answer live off the cuff. It's short moments. So there's 12 questions. I'm going to read the questions. And in the moment, as the saying go, off the cuff, I'll give you my best answer as a consultant to hopefully give you a bit of insights on how you can do this. Now, you might be thinking, well, I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm not a founder. I don't like business. I'm just working. But you know someone that's maybe starting out or have been going at it for quite some time. This is a person that you want to tag and share this with. This is the person that you might help a business struggle that they're facing in terms of their sales processes, in terms of their company culture, in terms of their general process and systems and operations. And you might never know exactly how much these answers would guide them. The internet is full of knowledge. Everything is there. But sometimes we need to condense it into matching our problems and bringing the solution for exactly that. Now, off the cuff is a chance where you can submit your questions. So if you've got this burning question when it comes to business, this is where you place it. Now, you can obviously put them right here. You can comment and in the live feed at the end of the 12 questions. If there's time, I'll go through and I'll look at the comments very briefly, very fastly to see if there's any questions coming up, and I'll answer them. But if you miss out on that opportunity, please send them along with us. Now, remember, off the bat of this, weekly we do a wisdom series, we do off the cuff, we do various consultancies, check new AI products, how businesses build, some unique, cool things from scratch with all the AI. And if you want to follow along on that journey, why not just comment news and I'll send you a newsletter, or check on our socials for our newsletter link. It's completely for free. It's straight to the point, and we bring you everything in a condensed version exactly for that. So you're so welcome here to being here at Off the Cuff. It's great seeing everybody here, and we're going to jump straight into the 12 questions of the week that entrepreneurs face in their day-to-day life or their operations as an entrepreneur, as a founder, as someone with a business curiosity that may be struggling with a couple of things to point out. And this is absolutely free advice. If you want more of the journey and more news, our podcast channels is available on Spotify. It's available on Apple. It's available on YouTube. It's called Not Yet Mature. And the links are also on our socials. Not Yet Mature is our official media partner where we get to bring this news to the world for entrepreneurs to build better businesses, because we do believe that they have that calling in their life. Now, Not Yet Mature currently is being streamed in 42 countries. 42 countries. We're very proud of what we're building here. Wisdom Live is, I think, joined by over 3,000 entrepreneurs now. Weekly, we're building some very cool AI processes and teaching entrepreneurs how to build businesses. So there's a lot of products and a lot of stuff. So check out our website, check out our socials, join our newsletter, and be in the moment with us. But you're so welcome in this space. And we're going to jump straight into the 12 questions of founders and entrepreneurs that they face daily, and off the cuff present you with those answers. So the first question I have in front of me today is the following. It says, I have 12 things in progress and 0 things finished. Where do I start? This is, I think, one of those things that every single person secretly struggles with. So, if this was your question, I want to say you definitely not alone on this. So, busy is not productive. I always say it. Just being busy means there's a lot of noise, and sometimes we lie to ourselves and saying we're productive when we're busy, and that's not quite the case. 12 things in motion with nothing landing is just scatter with a schedule. Multitasking at the business level is not agility. It is a failure to make decisions. Every item marked in progress is a decision kind of like deferred. You do not have a workload problem, you have a priority problem. And priority problems are always the owner's problem first, every single time. So, three moves that I will say yes. One, stop starting. Okay, pick one thing that is 80% done and finish it today. Completion creates leverage. Perpetual motion creates noise, right? The second thing is rank everything by consequence and not by urgency. I don't always like the 4 quadrant metric of urgent and priority. When we look at the things, rank it by consequence. The loudest item in the queue is rarely the most important one. The third thing I would say is cap your work in progress. 2 active items per person maximum. Everything else joins a sequence list, not a parallel pile. Completion always beats motion. That's the rule of thumb. And I hope that answers your question. Welcome to Off the Cuff, answering your business questions, 12 of them. That was the first question. Let's look at question number 2. Question number 2 says, we keep shipping features before we fix the last round of bugs. When does speed become debt? I see this a lot in the AI sector because we can build solutions and tools. I mean, I've got courses teaching you how to launch a business within 2 days, whether you tech savvy or not. It's actually so achievable. And I see this problem actually quite a lot. So I would say you crossed the line from speed to debt the first time you shipped, knowing something was broken. Speed as a strategy works when you are learning. Speed as a habit works until the debt compounds. Every unresolved bug is a mortgage on your next sprint. You are not building faster, you are borrowing against future time at a rate you cannot, or have not rather, agreed to. The team that cannot stop long enough to fix what is broken is running from the backlog, not toward the customer. So the 3 moves that I want to recommend is 1, run a freeze. No new features for 1 sprint cycle, fix and close. This will feel slow. It is the only move that restores leverage. The second point I want to give is, or idea, install a done definition. Like, what does done look like? Ship means working, documented, and tested, not deployed and hoped for. The third thing is track your bug to feature ratio, I would say every week if possible. You can use Claude for that, you can use your own tools, but do that bug to feature ratio. Like, where does the bugs pop up? When it inverts, the debt is already governing your roadmap. The ratio is the signal. Speed without cleanup is a loan. The third question here I have is, my SOPs, that's standard operating procedures, are always out of date by the time I write them. Is there a better way? I want to say use AI, but let me give a slight better example or answer. A written SOP 6 months after the process ran is archaeology. It's not a system. Documentation falls behind because it is treated as admin rather than part of the work itself. You do the thing, then you try to remember the thing, then you try to write the thing, by which point it has, I would say, almost always already changed. The gap is not discipline, it is architecture. It's what you build. You build the process and the documentation as 2 separate events. 3 tips I want to give. 1, document while you do, always. You can use tools like Whisperflow. You can use tools like your AI. Keep notes as you go. You can even record yourself as you build this type of things, and just get the transcript and ask even AI to put that in a process document for you. So yeah, document as you go or while you do. First time you run a process, record it, screen capture, voice memo, whatever is closest to you, and then polish it later. Capture now. The second point I want to give is own one section per person on the team. No central documentation hero. That hero always becomes the bottleneck. And the third one is, there's so much theory and psychology around this, but I'll say set a 90-day expiry on every SOP. If nobody triggers a review, the process is either not critical or not being used. Either answer is useful. Systems built in the moment outlast memory every single time. So, guys, just once again, off the cuff, answering your questions that you face with in business. We do 12 questions. We're now at question number 4, really speeding up through this. The point of the idea is to just give you some wisdom and traction. And often we get questions that deserves better clarity and better answers. We then take that to our podcast channel, Not Yet Mature. It's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, it's Apple. It's completely for free. And then we delve deeper into that. That is now streamed in 42 countries. We bring the nuggets together on our newsletter. So please join our newsletter. If you can't find it anywhere, just DM us or comment newsletter and I'll send you the link. It's absolutely for free. It's out weekly. It's actually going out today again. It's every Friday. And it's just everything condensed to help the entrepreneur, help the business person. You start out with AI, with tech, with answering their questions around process and everything. My name is Dion. I run a business called Exemplo Capital, XCAP, which focuses as an AI studio to build processes, build company cultures. It's very human centralized, and build that sales bottle or funnels to overcome the bottlenecks. And throughout that, we use our studio partner, Not Yet Mature, to bring this content to entrepreneurs, to assist you guys in basically these type of things. So thank you for supporting the journey. That's how you support the journey, is just follow along, tag a friend which may find this relevant, and we'll keep this going every single time as long as we can. The fourth question I have in front of me today for off the cuff is, I followed up the morning after a big pitch. My mentor says I should have waited. Is she right? Next morning follow-up is a signal, just not the one you think you are sending. When you follow up before the buyer has time to think, you are not showing enthusiasm. You are showing anxiety. Urgency leaks in the timestamp. A same-day message says, I need this deal. And buyers do not buy from need. They buy from confidence. Your mentor is right about the timing. She's right about what the timing reveals. So if I need to give the 3 points, 3 moves here, is the first one would be wait 36 hours after a pitch before the first follow-up. Discipline in the silence is part of the sell. The second one would be to say, when you do follow up, do not summarize what they already sat through. Add one piece of specific value, an answer to an objection, a relevant case study, a decision clarifier. And the third one is use the wait. Send a handwritten note the same evening if you want to signal effort. The speed of the typed message is what telegraphs the panic. Urgency in the follow-up is anxiety in writing. Okay. We work with a lot of sales teams globally. I think we've trained over 5,000 executives globally in over 20 countries, 6 continents, soon going to be the 7th continent. Got lots more to share on that. So personally, I work a lot with sales teams. So that's my biggest passion, entrepreneurship and sales. If you are in a company and you need help with your sales teams, with their culture, their strategies, please reach out to us. We would love to help where we can. So the second thing, or the fifth question, is as follows here live at Off the Cuff. A deal stalled and I panicked and dropped the price. Did I just teach them to wait me out? I love this. Look, we all need to put food on the table. We are also eager to push that sale. We read the books, what Alex Hormozio writing on how to, convert those leads, get that $100 million offers, everything like that. It is super important to have a funnel of strategy. Don't just push one sale to see it through. So, did you just teach them to wait me out? Yes. You taught them that stalling is a discount strategy. So, congratulations, you are on the curriculum now. Price drops triggered by silence, train the buyer. They did not even have to ask. You ran the experiment for them and delivered the result. Next time, they will know the waiting period. And this is important to remember because when it comes to sales, there's a couple of things that I want to say as a side note to this that's very important. First thing that you need to do is you need to get the client through the door. That's part of the sales and marketing kind of like collab strategy. If you cannot get the client to the door, and I'm talking about the e-commerce side, the social side, the physical store, doesn't matter, you can never, ever, ever convert them. But the second thing is even if they buy, the objective is recurring revenue, meaning they need to buy again. So when you gave them this discipline the first time around, you taught them a very lazy, bad sales technique for recurring revenue. So the next time they will know the waiting period. The round after that, they will teach someone else. You did not lose margin on one deal. You set a rate on your own worth under pressure. So, yeah, I guess the three moves that I'll say is first of all, own the lesson privately and adjust the policy publicly. No more price moves without a buyer initiated reason on the table. The second one, we say, reopen the stall deal on value, not on cost. Go back with a question about the timeline, the problem, the cost of inaction, not an offer. The third thing I would say is when you feel the panic, treat it as a signal to qualify harder, not to discount. Panic usually means the deal was already poorly qualified. Fix the pipe, not the price. Price under pressure becomes policy. And I really hope that helps. And for those of you that's not owning a company right yet, but thinking to start out, this is Sales 101. That's what you should remember. It's that value proposition over cost. And that's the discussion that you always should have. The sixth question, halfway through, we're doing 12 questions live here on Off the Cuff, is I've got 12 prospects warm, but 0 closed. How do I push which ones to actually push? 12 warm prospects and 0 closed is not a pipeline. It is a waiting room you have been too polite to manage. Warm means they like the conversation. It does not mean they are buying, right? It's that we talked about it in previous off-the-cuff sessions, and especially on Not Yet Mature Studios, that interest is not intent. It's not the same thing, right? The longer they sit without a frame for commitment, the colder they become. And you are narrating it as progress. You have confused activity with urgency. The 12 need to be sorted and not nurtured. So 3 actions I would give for this one is, the first one is apply a single qualification test. Can they articulate what happens if they do not solve this in the next 30 days? If they cannot, they are a contact and not a prospect. The second one is create a decision trigger for each one. A call, a deadline, a change condition that forces a yes or no. Vagueness in your pipeline is permission you gave them, okay? And then the third one is let the bottom half go. Chasing 12 buys nothing if 6 are never buying. Clarity on 5 beats activity on 12. Warm is not committed. Qualify or release, it doesn't matter. Let's move on to the next question. The next question is, let's have a look at that. We hired fast and half the team doesn't know what the company is actually doing. How do I fix it without starting over? This is believe it or not, I don't think enough people admit to this, right? I honestly don't think a lot of people admit to this. And it is a hiring thing, and it's an HR thing, and it's a But I think generally speaking, this boils down to something that I would say a company culture issue, right? By the way, if you have any follow-up advice or any questions regarding sales processes, company culture, anything that you're struggling with, you can comment those questions. I'll have a look at that at the end of the 12 questions to see if I can quickly answer them. Otherwise, just DM us, join our channels. There's a lot of links. You can submit this freely. This is free advice that you get to, whereas usually when you go to a consultant or to other knowledge-based places, there's a cost to get answers to this. So I love the question. And this is actually something that a lot of people struggle with. They just don't always admit it or know they need to admit it. I would say, fortunately for you, you do not need to start over. Okay. You need to stop long enough to say it once, clearly, to everyone. Fast hiring fractures teams because orientation gets treated as HR admin instead of leadership work. Each person was onboarded with a different version of the mission. That's why this happens, or actually no version at all. What you have is not a knowledge problem, it is a clarity gap that compounds with every new quarter. People fill what they do not know with an assumption, always. Making an ass out of you and me, assume assumption. An assumption is how cultures drift. 3 moves, run a single all hands, not a deck, a conversation where we are what we are building, what each division actually does. 45 minutes. You will not fix everything, but you will stop the confusion, I would say, compounding, like building up. The second one is write the one pager that should have existed before the first hire. Company, mission, roles, how decisions get made. 2 pages maximum. It's always about the clarity. And then the third point I would say is install a 45-day alignment check for everyone hired in the last 6 months. One question that you can ask is, what do you think we are building? Like, ask people that. What do you think we are busy building? The gaps in the answers are your roadmap. Clarity delivered late beats confusion compounding every single time. Last 4 questions, 4 off the cuff this morning. And if you've got any questions yourself, you can just comment them. We'll have a look at the comments. We'll answer them if we can. Otherwise, just DM us, email us, get in touch, follow this journey, share this with an entrepreneur that might be struggling with the same questions, because this is your guys' questions. And I completely love them. And thank you for submitting them. This is really one of my highlights for the week. I think I've got a lot of highlights, but 2 highlights when it comes to the live things. It's Off the Cuff on a Friday and Wisdom Live on a Tuesday, where we just saw like a massive anointing and blessing of entrepreneurs hungry to build ethical businesses and better businesses. I think we do over 3,000 entrepreneurs weekly coming to exactly that, with a lot of other workshops in between and sales training and company culture training. So the next question is, I have a team meeting every day and I think everyone hates it. Do I need to stop? There's so many unnecessary meetings. I saw someone this week again that they put on the meeting and they just walk. They just continue with their day, with their morning. And I said, you know what? That meeting shouldn't happen in the first place, because if you doing it, most probably someone else is doing it as well. So we see this especially in the virtual remote era, where people tune into meetings. We've got all the apps and tricks out there to fake your interest in that. We've got the doom scrolling handing out, so we lose people's interests and intentions. But it's a meeting that never should have happened. So if everyone dreads the meeting is not solving the problem. It is performing it. Daily meetings are an anxiety management tool for founders who cannot tolerate not knowing. It's a micromanagement thing. If you are running them, ask what you are actually afraid of. Is it misalignment? Is it drop in progress? The answer tells you whether you need a meeting or a system that surfaces information without pulling 12 people off their work every single morning. So my 3 tips for that would be cut to 3 times a week and measure whether anything actually breaks. I almost want to guarantee you it will not. The second one is replace the status update with an async stand up. Written 2 minutes, posted before 9 a.m. The meeting becomes a conversation about blockers only, not a roll call for people to prove they exist. And the third one is cancel it completely for 1 week as an experiment. Track what you actually lose. The losses are your agenda. Everything else was theater. Frequency reveals your anxiety. And then the next question. One of my best people said she's been stretched too thin for 6 months. I didn't notice. What does that say about me? It says you were building the company faster than you were watching the people building it with you. Missing someone's capacity for 6 months is the predictable cost of moving too fast without a system for seeing what you are doing to your team. She kept delivering, so you kept asking. That is a natural loop, but until it breaks. What she told you was not a complaint. It is a signal that you have been borrowing from her reserves without reading the gauge. Go back and listen, and not to fix or explain, to understand what 6 months of too much actually felt like for her. That conversation is the repair. Install a capacity check into your one-on-ones. One question, on a scale of 1 to 10, how sustainable is this week? Track the number. The trend is the data. And then the last one, I would say, slow your hiring to workload ratio. Every new commitment to a client is a commitment to someone on this team or your team first. Speed to the client is sometimes cost to the team. So be careful of that loop of hurry. I think this week we spoke a lot about hurry. I delivered 2 podcast episodes on Not Yet Mature Studios, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, on the dangers of the hurry in a team and how you as a founder should really just, how do you measure it and how do you fall back on that? Let's do the last 3 questions. The last 3 questions are as follows. I'm scared that if I slow down, I'll fall behind. Is that fear or wisdom? We speak a lot about wisdom, and I don't always think we speak a lot about fear in the same kind of like conversation. So it's a very good question. For me, it's a faith thing. Fear and wisdom wear the same sentence. The difference is what they are protecting. When fear talks, it is usually protecting your ego from the imagined humiliation of being passed by, because that's what fear is, the fear of the unknown, taking it out of our control. And that's why we need faith to understand that we're just stewards of it to actually replace that fear. So when wisdom talks, it is protecting something with real weight, your family, your team, the thing you are actually building. And most founders terrified of slowing down are running from a story about what failing and falling behind would say about them. And that is not wisdom. That is identity wrapped in urgency. 3 principles that you can apply is the first one, ask what you would actually lose if you slowed down for 30 days. Write it out. Most of the catastrophe lives in imagination, not consequence. The second one is name what is driving the pace, right? We talked about it once again in an episode this week. So I love how everything is just building up to that. If it is market timing or a real client commitment, that is legitimate urgency. If it is comparison and ego, that is fear wearing a business plan. And then the last advice on that is rest is not absence of movement. It is what keeps your judgment from degrading under sustained pressure. The patient leader makes fewer irreversible mistakes. Fear accelerates, wisdom paces. And there's quite a difference in that. If you're enjoying this, please just look on your screen right now. Give us a follow, give us a like, join this, because we're giving this more and more out for the entrepreneurs. It really helps the algorithm. It's not about followers, but we are content creators in the space of creating content for entrepreneurs, for startups. And we want to give this out because we do believe every entrepreneur's got a massive calling in their life, and we want to give them back to you guys. And these are your questions. So please follow along on the journey. Join our newsletter for extra resources, absolutely for free. It's once weekly, non-spam. We give you the latest on AI that we've tested. We've give you all the nuggets for Wisdom series, all the nuggets for Off the Cuff series, and a couple of 2 other things that you can follow along on the journey. You can just check on our socials for the newsletter links, or just comment or DM us and say newsletter ? And I'll send you the link personally. If you've got any questions, you can write them in the comments now, or email them to us, or inbox us. We'll add them to the queue, but we also do have links available where you can submit your questions, and your questions will surely in the future be part of the 12 questions that we answer in Off the Cuff. The last 2 questions is, I've been too busy to actually think. Is that a business problem or a spiritual one? Personally, if you were to ask me, and you are, I would say it's both. And the fact that you are asking means you already know. Busyness is almost never a capacity problem. It is a priorities problem dressed in a calendar. You have said yes to enough things that thinking the highest leverage work a founder can do no longer has a slot. What got squeezed out was not a nice to have. Reflection is how you catch mistakes before they land. Stillness is how character gets shaped. Losing both has a compounding consequence. So, 3 tips. First one, block 30 minutes tomorrow morning before any meeting or device. No agenda. Sit with the hardest question on your table. You will resist it. Do it anyway. The second thing is treat reflection as a business tool, not a personal luxury. Your best insights will not come from your next meeting. They will come from the gap between the meetings. Thirdly, number 3, notice kind of like what you are using busyness to avoid. There's usually something. Name it. The pace often serves the avoidance. Thinking is not idle, it is work. It is the work. Last question this morning. Thank you so much for joining Off the Cuff this morning, answering your business questions as an entrepreneur, someone with a passion for business. Follow along on the journey. Write in the comments your questions, tag a friend, and please, please, please support the journey by just giving us a like, a follow. Go to our podcast channel. We've got great podcasts out there. You can read what the topic's about and how that speaks into your life. We've got various ones analyzing data, analyzing business trends, analyzing AI, and talking from a wisdom place of point of view or a consultant point of view to speak into your life on how you can actually build these kind of things yourself. We do offer various courses. We do offer a lot of stuff, but check out our socials, our websites, and you'll be up to speed exactly what we do. But thank you for your time this morning. And the last question is as follows. Then I'm just going to read or scout very fastly through the comments. If I miss your comments, I will pick it up later because we go through everything later, and I'll just pull it into exactly this. So, each Friday, come back. We'll be here live in the moment, or afterwards, it will be on our Spotify and Apple and YouTube channel as well. Not yet mature. Okay. How do I reconcile work hard with don't be anxious about tomorrow? This is a faith-driven entrepreneurial battle, and it's so real. Hard work is effort applied to today. Anxiety is effort applied to a tomorrow that you cannot control. That's a rule of thumb. Put this on your bumper sticker. I'm going to say that again. Hard work is effort applied today. Anxiety is effort applied to a tomorrow that you cannot control. The conflict between diligence and anxiety is a category error. One is a posture, the other is an emotional state. The principle is not passivity. It confronts the emotional state that replaces trust with calculation, rest with dread, and planning with obsession. The founder who works hard from peace is a different person than the one who works hard from fear. Same hours, completely different human being. 3 principles that you can apply with this is the first one is plan tomorrow with full effort, then close the laptop. The plan is your act of diligence. The closure is your act of trust and faith. The second one is notice the quality of your work at 11 p.m. versus 9 a.m. Anxiety-driven hours often produce decisions that cost more than they actually create. Knowing when to stop is the discipline, and it's not a weakness. Three separate responsibilities from control. You are responsible for the decisions. You are responsible for the work, the character you bring. You are not responsible for the outcome. Owning that boundary is not weakness, it is faith that has grown up. Diligence works, anxiety just worries. So, once again, thank you so much for joining Off the Cuff this morning. If you've got any questions, you can comment them here. I'll see if I can quickly answer them. Otherwise, I'll just add them to the queue. Please remember to like our channels, follow along, tag a friend. Get them part of this journey where we answer your questions. And if you want to know more about everything that we do, we've got a brilliant newsletter out there. You can just inbox us and say newsletter ? And we'll send you the link to that newsletter. It's delivered in your inbox every single Friday, just with a overview of exactly this off the cuff overview of our wisdom series, 1 or 2 cool videos that you can watch, some business tips, business advice, and then obviously just the latest AI that we tested that you can implement in your business, because we want to bring the entrepreneur all the tools to succeed. But thank you so much for being here this morning. I'm just going to check here. I don't see that anything we don't have questions on that side. I'm going to end that stream right over there.